China Rally is one of the most iconic events in the Asia Pacific Rally Championship, in a setting where old meets new. Some of the very latest and most powerful rally cars are here to share the roads with more sedate local forms of transport. It's also an event where East meets West and where spectators line the rally roads in their thousands. China Rally is based 400 kilometres southwest of Shanghai in the city of Longyu. The roads for the event are a challenging mixture of smooth, slippery concrete and tight and twisty gravel, up and over mountains. This year adds an extra challenge. It starts to rain before the event, and all predictions are for it to continue. With the 2015 Asia Pacific Rally Championship drivers and manufacturers titles wrapped up in the last round in Japan, Skoda decides to send their new champion Pontus Tiedemund a brand new R5 Skoda Fabia for the China Rally. Swedish driver Tiedemund won the WRC2 category at Rally Spain last weekend in a similar car, and he's keen for another victory.
We had a good rally in Spain, which was last week, where we win and had a good speed on the gravel. So I'm really excited to drive this rally in China with the new car we have. So really excited, and yeah, it will be tough as always.
Obviously, you'd like to make it 2 wins in 2 weekends.
Yeah, it should be nice, but it's a long rally, and it's first time I'm here, and it's quite tricky rally. It's surface is changing a lot, and yeah, it's really tricky. So it will be a hard challenge.
While Tiedemund will drive the R5, his teammate Gorev Gill will compete in the S2000 version. Tiedemund explains the differences.
Different is that it have a 1.6 turbo engine. In the S2000 it's 2.0 without turbo. So and also the chassis is, in one way it's quite similar, but in the other way it's quite big difference how the handling and how the feeling is in the car. So it's not so easy to swap between the cars, but yeah, we've been driving a lot in the R5, so I think it will be fine.
For Gill, China Rally has been a mixture of highs and lows. He won the FIA drivers title here in 2013, but followed that up in 2014 with a huge accident after damaging the Skoda suspension on the previous stage. And even though any chance of the driver's title is gone for this year, Gill's highly motivated to do well here in China. But equally, he's well aware of the challenges.
Definitely one of the most difficult rallies to be at, considering the weather and the stages. And we have some new stages here this year which are even slower and more twisty than what we've been used to in the previous years. I really haven't had a good year this year, so I'm really looking forward to having a good rally.
Last year, New Zealand driver Mike Young drove a low-powered 1600cc two-wheel drive Proton Satria here, and remarkably finished on the podium. Now, with the turbocharged four-wheel drive Subaru, can he do even better?
Oh, definitely, especially with this rain now, there's going to be a lot extra grip, and especially the extra power going up the mountain is going to be a huge benefit. And we're still learning the car, but I'm sure it'll be good. Here you can't go wide because there's always a big rock or even a big cliff to go down. So the main thing for this rally is basically just to finish and bring it home, because there's lots of points on offer, and Asia Cup is the focus from now.
The Asia Cup is currently led by Japanese driver Hitoshi Takayama, 15 points ahead of Young, and Gill is only 3 points adrift in third place. Takayama may be leading the Asia Cup, but here in China, it's not his major aim.
First priority is to finish this rally and get many experience. So Asia Cup title is next. So yes, right. I think first time I never been to China, so first time. It's like Japanese road, so I want to enjoy this rally. So yes.
After a good finish in Japan, Sri Lankan driver Dinesh Dehiragoda is well placed in the Asia Cup points with 2 rounds to go.
Well, lying fourth, I believe, at the moment. All eyes are on the top 3 drivers at the moment, so I'm also there. So I'm in at 4th place. Of course, we are missing Fan from the championship round this year because of CRC. But there's Gaurav, Takayama, and then of course Mike Young, all 3 fast drivers. I think consistency will pay the price at the end of the rally.
As Tahira Goda says, Fan won't be competing here because of his China Rally Championship commitments. However, his team has asked New Zealander Richard Mason to drive one of its new high-powered Mitsubishis, aiming to win some team points.
It's a great opportunity to come back to China. When Fan asked us if we'd like to come, we didn't hesitate, you know. And Long Yu, we've been here before, about 9 years ago, so a lot's changed since we've been here, but the roads are fairly similar to what we had before, maybe apart from the concrete stages. So yeah, it's new challenges, looking forward to it.
The rain doesn't put off any of the spectators nor the media who gather to watch the spectacular start ceremony to welcome the international competitors. Tiedemann and Axelsen are first over the start ramp in their brand new MRF Skoda Fabia R5. The start is immediately followed by Stage 1, a super special just outside Long Yu. It's always a popular event, and this year it's televised live. The 2 Skodas are first up, and it's Gil who gets a slight jump at the start, and as he always does, he goes on maximum attack. However, it's Tiedemann in the R5 Skoda who emerges fastest by 2.5 seconds. A big margin considering the stage is only 1.8 kilometres long. Next away are the 2 New Zealanders, Young and Mason. Mason's Mitsubishi has a lot of power, but it's a big car to wrestle around this very tight and often rough circuit. Young gets a bit sideways on the second to last corner, but gets his Group N Subaru home 3rd fastest, 2.4 seconds quicker than Mason.
6 left plus 30.
The next battle is between Takayama and Tahira Goda, and even though he starts cautiously, it's an easy win for Takayama. After the break, the real rally begins, and it doesn't take long for all hell to break loose, with 2 top contenders upside down. Saturday morning and China Rally gets underway for the first full day of rallying, starting with the all-concrete 23-kilometre Shiyuan stage. The concrete looks smooth, but it can be very abrasive, and on gravel tyres, very slippery. And when the following 2 tests are gravel, the challenge here is to avoid overheating and wearing out the tyres on the concrete. Tiedemann wins the opener easily, 7 seconds faster than Gil. Next up is the gravel-based San Menyuan mountain stage. 40 uphill hairpins before racing down the other side. It's a good stage on which to compare the 2 Skodas. At the first split, still going up the mountain, it's Tiedemann leading, but incredibly by just 0.3 of a second from Gil. At the second split, the order's reversed. Now Gil's 0.3 up, and perhaps having done the stage many times before, he's driving with a little more confidence through the mist and clouds that make visibility difficult.
4 left, to 2 plus left.
In the next section, Gil continues to surge ahead, and by the third split is 19 seconds up on Tiedemann. But sadly, that all disappears shortly afterwards.
Yeah, not far to go. 40, medium 5 right over crest, long, into 1 minus left, 1 minus left. Got half a K to go. 30.
With a punctured front tyre making it difficult to turn, Gil's 19-second advantage quickly turns into a 17-second deficit.
Centre. Kinks 20, crest and short, 5 minus left.
Same thing happened. Under braking,
Yeah,
the rocks jutting out.
hit one.
With 3 wins from 3 stages, Tiedemann starts the 4th test with a 27-second advantage over Gill.
Stop. 34.8 late.
Still angry from the time lost with the puncture on the last stage, Gill attacks again, setting a blinding pace. Stage 4, Heng Shan, is a mixture of slippery mud, gravel and some narrow strips of concrete that run through the small villages.
Yeah, narrow. It's narrow down here as well. 50 care, very narrow for left.
Once again, Gill is ahead on the stage split times. 11 seconds up on Tiedemann after just 4.5 minutes.
The 5 left, 40.
But then it goes wrong for Gill. Very, very wrong.
Here we go. You're right.
Yeah. Happened.
You just hit something on the inside.
It's a big accident and the stage is stopped. The remaining cars tour through while Gill's co-driver Glenn McNeil is taken to hospital with a suspected broken collarbone. With the sister car out of the event, Tiedemann has a 2.5-minute lead over second-placed Mason and can relax somewhat, although in these conditions that's not easy. Mason has had a good morning learning the car and making some changes to the Mitsubishi setup, and that improves his times on stage 4 until he has to stop and render assistance at Gill's accident. Third and first of the Group N production cars is Takayama, taking a conservative approach through the first 3 stages and exploring the grip levels. Even better for Takayama, he's 1 minute in front of his main rival in the Asia Cup, Mike Young. He has a serious problem with his Subaru. He has no power steering and is finding it a real struggle on San Manuan's 40 hairpins.
26 left, 5 right short. This is the worst of it anyway, all right? 1 right.
The Cusco Easy Racing team had replaced the steering rack after Thursday's shakedown and were confident they'd fixed the problem.
It's only when the car gets hot. So Sam Yang happened at the start of the stage, and the last one it only went at about 4 kilometres to go. It's hard to tell until you really get into the stage again, because they thought they might have fixed it last night, but it doesn't look like it. So we'll have to wait and see basically and go into the stage. It doesn't actually matter too much on tarmac. At the really sharp corners I can feel it, but going up the mountain with no power steering is not so fun.
De Hiragoda is in 5th place after 4 stages, but is puzzled by the handling of his Mitsubishi Lancer. Unfortunately, the issue becomes terminal on the first stage after midday service. While he makes it out of the stage, De Hiragoda is then forced to retire.
I thought it was a clutch because it was slipping throughout, and I crawled back to service, but my mechanic said that it looks like as if the center diff has packed up. So retirement once again. From Malaysia I retired because I had a problem with the fan belt, and now center diff, not so happy because not being able to give a fight for the rest of the drivers in the Asia Cup, but we are trying to see if we could restart tomorrow.
As Tiedemann checks into the start control of stage 6 and another run through San Manuan, he's extended his lead to over 4 minutes. And in the final 2 tests of the day, he increases that to 5 minutes and 45 seconds.
Yeah, it's been a great test today, so really challenges, and but for sure it's good training to drive this surface. It's not been easy. It's quite really slippy, and some part is really super slip, so need to be really careful. At the same time as you always need to push a little bit to not just stay on the top to get the car really sucked down, so not easy.
Although he's unable to do anything about Tiedemann, Mason has been getting quicker and quicker. Happy too that by day's end he has the Mitsubishi's handling to his liking, though still unsure whether he should push harder.
I suppose it's a little bit dependent on what the team want to do. You know, we're certainly getting the car into a position where we can, you know, put on a bit more pace if required. But to be fair, there's quite a big gap in front of us and probably quite a big gap behind us. So it's one of those moments that you maybe are better to hold station and just see what tomorrow brings.
Takayama spends the afternoon consolidating his third place. And with his ultimate goal to get more international experience and to finish, he's not pushing either, especially given the unpredictable grip.
Very slippery and hard grip, high grip and low grip, many, so very challenging. Yeah.
How about Sandman 1 with all the hairpins?
Heavy fog and no screen, and I just slowly. Yes, that's right.
Young continues to wrestle his Subaru through the afternoon stages that are getting more and more muddy and more slippery. Then on the final test of the day, a combination of exhaustion and the heavy steering catches the Kiwi out.
Oh! You all right? Let's get back on its wheels, eh?
Young and co-driver Reid are out of the car in an instant. Reid organising spectators to get the car back on its wheels.
He's going to hop the tow rope on, and then everyone pull on it. The power of man!
Young and spectators pull while Reid hooks first gear and drives the Subaru back on the road. They're soon on their way again, but there are some ominous noises coming from the car. Somehow they make it back to Longyu inside the 30-minute lateness allowance, and then begins a frantic 45 minutes as the Cusco service crew repair the damage and change the power steering pump.
Straight piece of road, and the road just slightly went right, and I just couldn't turn the steering wheel more, and it went off, and the bank was basically just a ramp and just flipped us over right onto our lid, and basically as soon as I hit the ground, both me and Malcolm were out the car and running down the road looking for people. So, but really credit to Malcolm to get us back here, because he was the one pushing us to carry on, and never say never. There's no way we were going to be staying there. We really wanted to finish today.
There are massive gaps between the 4 remaining competitors. However, with 123 kilometres still to go, anything could happen. It's a dull, dark morning as the 4 remaining competitors ready themselves and their cars for another day's competition in the Asia Pacific Rally Championships China Rally. The organisers have scheduled one of the toughest tests of the event as the Day 2 opening stage. The 25-kilometre Darji starts on slippery wet concrete and then quickly changes to tight and twisty gravel. And in this weather, mostly mud. Unsurprisingly, it's another win for Tiedemann, over a minute faster than his closest rival, Mason. Group N and Asia Cup rivals Takayama and Young are separated by just 1.4 seconds for the 25-kilometre stage. Young just ahead in his battered Subaru. Unfortunately, this is the last we'll see of Mason and his co-driver wife Sarah in this rally. Second fastest on Darji and looking good for second place on the podium, the Mason Mitsubishi retires on stage 9 with broken suspension. Tiedemann wins the next 2 tests to add to his tally and extend his lead. Back at the Longyu service, we catch up with Tiedemann's co-driver Emil Axelsson to hear his views on the event.
Yeah, it's quite tricky out there. I mean, the rain doesn't not easy for us, and well, it's all right. We learned quite a lot from it. You need to adapt your speed to each corner as well. The road will just get more and more slippy, but we have them quite well marked in the pace notes, so we know where to take it easy and where we can push a bit. But that's the hard part when it's in those conditions. That some corners you can go really, really fast, and some you really have to slow down and just 10 km per hour and then hit the throttle again and flat out.
Takayama's co-driver Hideki Takayabu, a former software engineer for Microsoft, doesn't like to look out the window, preferring to feel where the car is.
Yeah, so road conditions is very bad because so you are always wet, very, very slippery. And so I always reading as a co-driver, so I always only reading the note, don't looking at the forward. So feeling that your moments and reading the pace note, but if slippy, what happened? Of course, off-road, I did take care, okay, to go, I said, always.
Young's power steering issues continue on day 2, but that doesn't stop the Kiwi attacking on the concrete.
8 left, 100.
Back at service, co-driver Malcolm Reed thinks they might have found the problem.
80.
The boys have just found something in service right now, and it appears to be shock related. So the shock's just slightly binding. So yeah, it's meaning the steering's not quite as fluent as it should be. So it's making Mike work hard, but he's doing a real good job actually, keeping it all under control.
After yesterday's big accident for Gaurav Gill and Glenn McNeil, we catch up with the injured co-driver.
Glenn, how are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm a little bit sore, but I'm fine.
Yeah, it was obviously a trip to the hospital.
Yeah, I suppose I got a broken collarbone, but it's not a bad break, so it's just a bit sore, a little bit painful, but it's okay.
Yeah. Can you tell us actually what happened?
I'd love to, but honestly, it's one of those things that I head down, and even Gaurav was pretty surprised that suddenly we found ourselves rolling. It was sort of the car stepped sideways, probably more than he thought under braking, and I think we've put the bank on the inside, and then gone over, and it was actually quite a hard roll. So we've obviously hit. It looked like we rolled over bushes, but underneath those bushes, obviously something quite hard.
The afternoon should be a straight run to the finish, but there's a last-minute drama for Takayama when he loses over 9 minutes, stopping to change a flat tyre on stage 11. Young passes the stricken Subaru as co-driver Takayabu waves him on.
5 left long, tightens exit 20, 6 left short 40.
Takayama continues to lose time to Young on the final 2 stages, but the New Zealander is so far behind after yesterday's dramas that the positions remain the same. And Young has no thought of trying to chase his Asia Cup rival. He's just happy to make it through the final afternoon stages and get to the finish line. He and the team are justifiably happy at the finish after one of the toughest events in his career, especially since he's secured the FIA Production Cup. There are celebrations at MRF Skoda too. It's the final event of the season for Tiedemann and Axelsen, and they're congratulated by Skoda team bosses. 5 wins from 6 events is an excellent result for the 24-year-old Swedish driver.
It's been absolutely fantastic. So happy that I'm doing this APRC championship, and a lot good of experience and good memories. So yeah, it's memory for life.
In the Asia Cup competition, Takayama increases his lead. He's now 22 points in front of Young with 1 round to go.
Point is good, and I had a very good experience. It's very happy.
Been up 4 mountains this weekend with no power steering has been absolute killer. You know? We've tried our hardest and we've never given up after the troubles we've had this weekend, and even been on our roof at one point thinking that was it. So we're really lucky to be at the finish here.
Tiedemann's 33-minute win is against the less powerful Group N cars of Takayama and Young, but all credit to him for a seemingly faultless performance all weekend. In the points race, Young leaps ahead of Gill to finish the season second in both the Drivers' Championship and the Worth Cup. The top drivers in the series received their Worth prize money for the year, Glenn McNeil accepting the Worth cheque on behalf of Gaurav Gill. There are big celebrations for the three finishers of the 2015 China Rally, and after a sodden weekend, the rain finally stops.